Have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Paulette Chavers.
God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your presence, and we thank you for leading and guiding us. And Lord, we continue to ask that you would bestow upon us your wisdom, your knowledge, and your understanding to provide the right guidance for the city of Statesboro. Protect the citizens in the Statesboro city limits and abroad, and let them always know that you are near and close to them. In your name, Jesus, I pray and I thank you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3. Agenda item 3 has about 4 parts this evening. The first is agenda item 3A. It is a presentation of a proclamation recognizing May 18th through the 24th as 2025 as Public Works Week. The proclamation reads as follows. A proclamation by the Mayor and City Council of Statesboro, Georgia, National Public Works Week Proclamation, May 18 through 24, 2025. People, purpose, presence. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Statesboro. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals. We are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the city of Statesboro to gain knowledge of and to maintain progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, Be It Now. Resolved, I, Jonathan McCullough, Mayor of the City of Statesboro, do hereby designate the week of 18 through 24, 2025 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, and government agencies and activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make in protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause to affix the seal of the city of Statesboro on this 20th day of May in the year 2025. We'll give a round of applause. Council. Yes.
All we do is so you can do one with the manager first, then you need to bring them all in. We'll do them all. Okay, well, we got all the public work first. On one side. Somebody needs to shift them.
All part of the team.
That's right.
Nope, put that down and move and line.
That's it?
Ready, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let me take one with a flash. 1, 2, 3. One more, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're
Good? Okay. So what day is the lunch? Thursday. Okay, I'm good. 11:01. Yeah. 11:01. Here, you want to
We're going to move down to agenda item 3B, which is a presentation of retirement award to Steve Hotchkiss, Director of Public Utilities, after 36 years of service to the city of Statesboro. And I want to read a word that was prepared for Steve. And it reads as follows. Steve Hotchkiss has served the city of Statesboro for over 36 years. During this time, he served as department head for natural gas and for all city public utilities, including natural gas, water, and wastewater. In addition to his service to Statesboro, he has provided support to numerous agencies and cities. Steve has been instrumental in the extension of natural gas infrastructure to serve the city of Meta, a new sewer treatment service for the city of Brooklyn, and growth in the unincorporated Bullitt County at Ogeechee Technical College, Gateway Industrial Park, and Bruce Young Commerce Park. Following the announcement of the Hyundai Meta plant, Steve has worked tirelessly to prepare our community's infrastructure to serve and support a significant increase in residential, commercial, and industrial growth. He has worked to update water, sewer, and natural gas long-range master plans, utility fund rate structures, and utility ordinances. He has provided professional guidance for key developments, including TA Travel Center, Aegean, Ecoplastic, Hannon Systems, Revalue, new infrastructure to serve the Georgia Southern University South Campus, as well as the Georgia Industrial Systems and Robotics Training Center at Ogeechee Technical College. Steve's leadership and contributions will leave a lasting impact on the quality of life in Statesboro and the surrounding communities. If we will, let us give Steve a round of applause. Steve, if you will, come forward. Steve, now you know you gotta say a word or two. Now, I'm gonna pass the microphone. Yeah, go on to the microphone. 36 years, we gotta hear this.
Okay, I got a few words, maybe. I told Mr. Kenny earlier, I have worked for, I think, 9 city managers, 6 mayors, and a couple of busloads of council. But I have enjoyed working for this council. Mr. Kenny and Jason have been a great bunch to work for. But these guys back here are the ones that I enjoy working with.
Yes.
We've got a great crew, and we makes me feel good. I think they're in a good place. I think they're ready to go on, and we got a lot of stuff going on, and I just want council and the people out there to realize just how much, work they put in.
Yes.
Everybody has their day. Wastewater treatment has had a horrible day. Everything in their life is broke today. They've been working all day long. So we got some here that were so dirty they said they would not come.
Yeah.
But that happens every day, and we just want people to appreciate what they do. And, the city's provided a good income for me and my family, a good place to work and live all these years. I'm very thankful for it. That's about all I got to say.
Well, I want to say this, 36 years is a long time, and we can't thank you enough for the work that you've put in over those 36 years. But as you choose to step away at this point, I want you just to think about the thousands of lives that you've impacted within our community, whether it was for the infrastructure that led to new homes, new jobs within this community. The growth that we're seeing right now is directly attributed to a lot of the work that you work to spearhead. So we can't replace you, but what we do is wish that God bless everything that you touch moving forward, and know that if you ever wonder, you always got a family right here in the city of Statesboro. So thank you for everything, Steve.
Thank you.
I know this department main tell us what to do. You ready? Okay.
1, 2, 3. You want to fill in with council?
Okay. Council.
Steve, is your wife here?
Right here.
Bring on up there.
Thank you.
Right this side.
This one, yeah, let's get her tucked in a little bit better. Yeah, there you go. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let that top part go. All right, I got it. You got it? Yeah. Okay.
Tilt it down. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
I just really feel like yeah, let's go ahead and get them out. Let's get the whole team.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Take the days with one. I know stays late
So they give
all those vertical challenges, too much of that. All the vertical challenges.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get right with
I know you're real tall.
He's sensitive about his height.
I didn't say anything about his height. Ken is back there. Ken, you need to step up. Step up.
Get you on the ladder.
Somebody in the back with her head down. Step up. Come forward. Show your face. If you're trying to get out of it.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Here's one like this whole camera out there. Sit on a chair.
Hold still now.
Smile for me.
That's it?
Congratulations.
All right. I was not going to. I told you got no problem.
All right. We're gonna move down to agenda item 3C. And this is a presentation of a retirement award to Kathy Fields, Director of Planning, after 5 years of service to the city of Statesboro. And we have some prepared words for Ms. Kathy, and they are as follows. Kathy joined the leadership team at the city of Statesboro on April the 20th, 2020. Before working in Statesboro, Kathy served in various leadership positions in Milton, Madonna, Roswell, and the Boston Housing Authority. Kathy's extensive amount of experience in the field of urban planning and development has been paramount in the development of her employees as well as in the management of record growth within the city limits. Accomplishments during her tenure include the initiation of the International Property Maintenance Code, the Townhouse Zoning Ordinance, followed by the Unified Development Code, the city's housing study, followed by the Affordable Housing Study, the 5-year comprehensive plan, update, and the strategic plan, the downtown master plan, the establishment of the housing rehab program, as well as the land bank authority. Her pleasant personality will be missed. However, we are very grateful for her contributions to the city of Statesboro, and we wish her the very best as she transitions into retirement. Ms. Kathy, if you will, come bless us with a word.
Thank you. Would you like me to say a few words?
Yes.
Well, I could not have done all of these policy documents without the support of the council, clearly. And I've always been very impressed with all the department heads. It's truly the best team that I've worked with all my years of experience. And I'm so impressed with them. And also with my staff, which I give a lot of credit to. They really helped me implement all of these policies. So thank you. It's bittersweet leaving, but it's time. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Now, the two of them retiring at the same time, I'm gonna talk to somebody about this.
Okay, great.
Right here.
1, 2, 3.
Hold on, before significant other.
One, two, three.
Council?
Feel like stay.
Oh, yeah. That's the slides off.
So if you want to take like 3 steps back, let's just do one more line.
We need to step that way.
The
seal behind us.
Okay, Councilor Johnson, can I come in just a little bit more? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's good.
You wanna add your staff? Justin, I see
Oh,
Justin on
Justin.
staff. Planning staff, come on, staff, come on. Yeah,
Robbie.
Come on,
Monica.
Listen cannot be. Come on. You gotta step up and step it in.
Councilmember Henry, can we have these? Justin, this one.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's good.
Great. All right.
Yeah, we're good with that.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. We enjoy working with All right. We're going to go down to agenda item D, 3D, which is a presentation by Richard Deal with Lanier, Deal, and Proctor on how the city financially ended fiscal year 2024.
I know Steve's walking out the door, but I've known Steve all my life. Great gentleman. Congratulations on this retirement. First of all, I just want to thank again the council for the opportunity for our firm to serve as the auditors for the city, and thank Cindy West and her finance department for providing information for the annual audit. We kind of went in detail in the work session. I just wanted to point out just a few things in regards to the city's finances for fiscal year 2024. The city on the government-wide basis, all the city's funds, accounts, capital assets, debt, everything. Total assets for the city at June 30, 24 was $223,436,000. City's liabilities were $56,299,000. The net position for the city as a whole at June 30 was $167,942,000. The city experienced an increase in net position to $19.2 million, about 13% increase in net position. Very good. The total expenses for the city for fiscal year 24, including depreciation on capital assets, interest on debt, total expenses were $35.3 million. Total revenues for the governmental activities was $49.8 million. The general fund is the primary operating fund for the city and for governmental activities. You had total fund balance, ending fund balance of $7.5 million for the general fund, which was an increase of $563,000, 8%, which is good. General fund revenues were $18.5 million. Total expenditures approximately about the same, 18.5. The fund balance for the general fund is good for the city. It represents about 35% of your annual expenditures and transfers out to other funds. The enterprise funds, the water, sewer, gas, solid waste, those are all doing well. Total net position for the enterprise funds was $79.3 million. The enterprise funds generate revenue of $27.2 million, expenditures of $23.7 million. Total operating income of $3.5 million for the enterprise funds. So again, overall, the city is in great financial shape. to help y'all as you need, if you have any questions.
All right, thank you, and we want to open it up to council for any discussion.
Right here, we're doing well.
Yeah, good, thank you. Keeping the reports good. Thank you. All right. We want to go down to agenda item 4, which is public comments. Liz, do we have anyone that signed up for public comments for the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go down to agenda item 5, which is a consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the council minutes and executive session minutes from May the 6th. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let us show that agenda item 5 has passed. We'll move to agenda item 6, public hearing consideration of a motion to approve 6A is application AN 25-03-04. Blue Water Bullet LLC requests an annexation of approximately 38.54 acres of property in order to develop a townhome subdivision at 285 Herman Russian Road. 6B is application RZ 25-03-05. Blue Water Bullet LLC requests a zoning map amendment from the R40 zoning district to the R2 zoning district in order to develop a townhome subdivision of approximately 198 units at 285 Herman Russian Road. We want to open this public hearing up. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, Ms. Kathy, if you will.
Yes, thank you, sir. Blue Water Bullet LLC requests a zoning map amendment from the R40 one household residential zoning district to the R2 townhouse residential zoning district in order to develop a townhome subdivision of approximately 198 units at 285 Herman Rushing Road. Currently, the property is a vacant 38.58 acre lot. The applicant seeks to amend the zoning and post-annexation to develop a townhome subdivision. Due to the location of this project, there are concerns regarding the roads connecting it, but in accordance with an existing intergovernmental agreement with Bullock County, the section of Herman Rushing Road adjacent to this development will become a city street. And I have combined both the annexation request and the rezoning request. And you can see the lot is vacant, 38.58 acres. Future land use map shows this to be in a developing neighborhood. And again, the request is to change the zoning from R40 to R2. And the subject property is shown on the top left, and it's vacant, as I mentioned. And the property to the south on the bottom right. Property to the north on the top left, and property to the west on the bottom right. And you can see the request for a sketch plan for the townhome subdivision representing 198 acres. And as we mentioned, there is a utility easement from Georgia Power going through the entire land, and it's represented in that green area. And if we move forward with the UDC amendments, they will not apply to this sketch plan. Staff does recommend approval of AN 24-03-04 and RZ 25-03-05. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, a traffic study must be submitted prior to the issuance of a land disturbance permit. 2, any right-of-way improvements as outlined by the submitted traffic study must be annotated in the development plans for the project and completed before issuance of any certificates of occupancy. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on May 6, 2025, the Commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions on a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kane. All right, is there anyone here to speak before this recording?
Afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Ed Rollins with OCA Bill. here on behalf of the developer. Like Ms. Kelly said, we're just one annex and rezone to R2. Reason being is that the city's going to potentially have utilities right next door as part of some development that's really started this week. So things are pushing out in that direction. The traffic studies are already been completed, so we know what improvements are going to be needed to make this development happen if it is approved this evening. And I'd be glad to answer any questions that anybody might have.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone else to speak for this request?
I'm not sure if I'm early or late on this, but my name is Joel Martin. Mayor and City Council, I thank you for this opportunity just to come and speak to you. I worked for the government for 34 years. I worked for community politicians, and I know y'all do this for good, and I thank y'all for that. This land that's going to be annexed, annexed is not the problem. This is what I want to build on. That's the problem with me. And Burke Halter and Kawana Road, you've already got 999 units being built now. And clearing the road next to Herman Russian and Burke Halter right now for 299 or 399 units mixed per home in townhouse. Across the street, it's been approved. I've got the documents to show this. The city has already approved these for another 200, and down Warner Road, we're looking at 590 units. You're talking about a small road for a call. And you're in a quick hurry. You got 999 units, and how many cars do you talk about fit on that road? And there is a bottleneck up there at 67 for a call. And y'all heard all of this. Y'all heard all of this.
We live through it just like you. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I
just stuck in traffic.
Yeah, and it's already, like, at 8:30 this morning, it was just about one road to get out. So, I mean, it's already there, the traffic's already there, and you put these 990, it's already been approved in the building. Think about that traffic on Burkholz. It's a thoroughfare coming through from 80 also. So, you know, you can't turn left, you can't turn right, because you only have, you know, you got one lane of traffic. Now, I know in the past that I was told, I'm coming here, I'm just beating my head against the wall, but I know better. I know where y'all's hearts are. You know, my concern is that we don't rush into this. I worked in Atlanta and we saw some horrible things happen from things like Gwinnett County and other places. So anyway, my thing is, I'm not against annexation necessarily. I'm against what they're going to put there. How many more can you put in it? And I know it's the study of the dense residential. I understand it, but we can't do it all at one time. It's got to be done at a time that when things are fixed to where the traffic can move. And then I was told, well, there's a roundabout. Well, you know what a roundabout does? You don't have the bottleneck does. You're going to have a bottleneck at roundabout. So, I mean, my concern is let's not rush into this. Let's let these that have already been approved get built, let the roads be repaired, and hopefully at 67 that will be rectified. But if we don't, we've got a real problem with the citizens that live out there. So I just ask that please give that consideration, not necessarily the annexation, because I know the city has the power to do that. I understand government. I understand that Wayne County and city that y'all have that. That's not a problem. My thing is let's don't overcrowd. Because somebody I think the reason I'm here by myself is when the other 399 got approved, people came and they just felt like they just was not listening to him, but I said I can't do that. I know these people. But anyway, I'm here just saying, let's take our time. If we can just back off and not rush into that and let the others be people. Let's get the road fixed. And somebody said, well, that's a DOT problem. Well, you know what the problem, who creates the problem? It's the city and the county government. And DOT has to come in right behind it. So it's not necessarily a DOT problem. It's the city and county problem that creates that. And then they gotta come in. Y'all got a lot to do right there. Thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. God bless you. And we're praying for you guys and let you know that I really appreciate what y'all do for the citizens.
Thank you. All right, anyone else to speak for or against? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we want to open it up for the council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Yes, please, Mr. Mayor. This is in District 5. Of course, we're all concerned about all the development all over Statesboro, regardless of whether it's one district we live in or not. Thank you and amen to your comments and concerns. I have 3 concerns for this particular development. Staff re-educate me. You show us where wetlands are, not because we're going to do anything about wetlands, just for information to know they're there. But EPD is actually going to deal with that and set what can be done. Is that right?
Yes, and there are wetlands. If that dark green in the back signifies the wetlands.
So it's just for our information. We don't set any limits, EPD deals with that. Okay, and then I'm also concerned, as Mr. Riggs mentioned during a work session, about the fact that this is a utility easement across there. And that unless we require something differently, the path of least resistance for the developer is to build it just like they've shown us and just have grass under the easement is what they're allowed to do, what they're allowed to do. But if they use that as their amenity space, then everybody who moves in there is not getting any of the amenities that we generally provide for townhome residents. We're putting in playgrounds or parks or walkways or wooded areas. So I'm concerned about that. I want something to happen such that they have to do better. And I know we're looking at trying to change the ordinance about this, but in the meanwhile, that's a concern with this development. And then the third big development is the traffic, just like we just heard. I know we're working. I know everybody's aware of the fact that there's a big traffic problem there. And it's not something the city can just write a check or make happen. But at the minimum, we need an update about any progress about DOT or working with the county or any agreement or what progress are we making toward relieving. Is it increased traffic all over town? We know it comes from flood. But this is a real problem at that intersection, and we just keep putting more, giving permission for more and more to be built there. So what can we do about it?
Mayor and council, as far as Burkhoff is concerned, that is a project that we have been working with UDOT, with the county, Georgia Power, because those folks are all involved. That intersection at 67 and Burkhalter, that is the main challenge, because you have those utilities that have to be relocated. But we have been meeting with them to plan that improvement. Fortunately, we do have funds from T-SPLOS that can make this happen. The issue is the timing of when that can get the schedule. But the meetings have been occurring. Staff and now Brad is with us. They were talking about before you came over. I wish I could tell you what's going to happen in the next 12 months, but I'm not going to be that gullible to give you that indication that that's the case. But it is in the planning stage to make those improvements. And Jason, if you want to add something.
Yeah, at the beginning of the new fiscal year, we'll start procurement for the what's procurement for those improvements, for the engineering for those improvements.
So we've required all the developers who are wanting to build out there, and they're already contributing extra right of way, we've got it for the access roads, all that sort of thing. But is there not a case to be made to stop until we can catch up? Is this getting worse and worse?
Well, from my perspective, I mean, we can stop it. But at the same time, those developments aren't gonna pop up there tomorrow. And the construction and improvements to the highway is gonna take some time, but when those things are more closely to being fully built, those developments, we would hope that our highway is they're probably gonna get about the same time. As long as we can get cooperation from the folks at Georgia Power, not worried about GI, Georgia Power is a big one. As long as we can get their cooperation. The majority of the money, the pavement is not the issue. The majority of the challenge is gonna be at 67. And the cost of relocating those utility lines, that's where the big cost.
And we'll have to work with Bullitt County on that, because that intersection is outside the city limits. We'll have to work with them. But I know they're familiar with that.
But I feel very confident they would not hesitate to let us spend our money.
Yeah. That's right, we'll work it.
So the proposal now does include, the roundabout there where Corona Road dumps into Burkhalter? Is it a DOT decision, or has it been decided?
No, that's staff level. When we select an engineering firm, in the coming fiscal year, that'll be identified very early on. They'll do different analyses to determine if that is the best, just like we were talking about South Main Fair Road. They'll have to do some concepts and some analyses to make sure that it's the most appropriate concept for that location, which we feel strongly that it is, because you look down lanes to Chapel and Burkhalter already, you see multiple roundabouts. There are pros and cons to a roundabout, but in these areas, it tend to work very well, really traffic efficient, and are very resistant to the impacts during storms and power outages.
There are always so many things that staff is working on, but of course, people are concerned about, I mean, this is a huge concern for a lot of people, including me, so. Thank you for the updates, and I guess we can hear what else Hayden wants to tell us, but see if there's any more discussion.
Yeah, I got that part, Ms. Sherry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, Ms. Ellis? Okay. Seeing that there's no, going to offer a point quickly for update.
Just to speak to a few of those items, the traffic study we did considered all the development in the surrounding areas. We looked at multiple different scenarios for Kiwanis Road and Burkhalter intersection, as well as the Burkhalter Highway 67 intersection. We have those improvements that are needed. The city has our report, so everything's defined in what would help those intersections function properly. We've helped across the road on development. We've given extra right of way for those improvements. And we're also installing some improvements as well as part of those developments. So the ball is moving on that front. As far as the open space, I hear you, and I agree that I think that it shouldn't account for 100%, but I do think there should be some sort of credit for it, because it is going to be a lot of open space that's conserved for forever. And nobody can tell you that you can't go kick a soccer ball, throw a baseball, and have fun in an open easement that Georgia Power maintains. And the market will drive other amenities as well. So all these other developments that have your playgrounds and your nicer open air canopies, people are going to want to live in those areas. So it's going to force developers to do some of those kind of things to entice people to buy homes in their communities. Kind of go on this opinion that these developments don't happen overnight. This is something that even if it's approved tonight, you're at least 2 years before you have people living in those units. So it takes a long time. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I see the city working on different parts to help the traffic flow, not only the city, but the county as well. But thank y'all.
All right, thank you. Anything further from council? All right, seeing there's nothing further from council, is there, do we have a motion from council in regards to this project?
May I also ask another question? So if we're approving just the annexation and the rezoning tonight, but they would still come back for subdivision plan approval, or actually, we don't even approve those anymore, as long as it staff says it's within what's zoned.
We approve it, it's just a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing, but it's just kind of for information in the record. We don't have any further input after tonight, is my understanding, as long as it falls within the rules of the zone. Is that not correct?
More or less. I mean, you always have to work with staff, to make sure that we're working with the developer to meet your needs and desires in that regard, but it is, but by right, I mean, whatever the ordinance regulations are, then as long as they comply with those regulations, then administratively we're charged with carrying that out once it's approved.
And Ms. Barr, I do want to also say, you share your concerns, and it is the staff's responsibility to ensure when those developments come forward that we're listening to your concerns to make sure that we're trying to address those things. And so I know you know this, but it doesn't fall on deaf ears, and so we have to hold the development. It might look something like that, but when we're having those discussions with them, we take what you're saying into account to try to get where you want us to.
Thank you.
All right,
I do a motion to approve the rezoning
okay, is that with staff condition?
with the staff condition.
Hold on.
The annexation.
Yeah.
Oh.
You motion to approve 6A and B with staff conditions?
That's right.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Third.
All those in favor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. All right, agenda item, 6 has, passed on a 4-1 vote. So we got to agenda item 7, public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application B25-04-01. Ramona Hagan requests a variance from section 2.4.1B of the Unified Development Code in order to convert an existing building into an accessory dwelling unit greater than the allowed 749 square feet at 109 Sandy Way. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Ms. Cass?
Yes, this is the first case of an accessory dwelling unit, and as you remember, when we did the UDC, we asked to allow for granny flats, for instance, and to make accessory dwelling units legal. So here is our first case, actually. Currently, the property is an existing home with a secondary structure on site. The applicant seeks to change the general layout of the existing shop structure to allow for a secondary dwelling on the site. Although the property does have frontage on Edwina Drive, the shape of the existing property and the current zoning do not allow for a subdivision of the land. The shop precedes as built, does not precede the adoption of the unified code. Therefore, the size restriction did not apply to accessory structures beforehand. So the structure in the front is the existing house, and the structure to the rear is the proposed accessory dwelling unit. future land use map does show this to be an established residential neighborhood. And the zoning map shows this to be an R415 zone. And here is the structure on Edwina Drive. It's on the top left. The subject property which is on Sandy Way is in the front, on the bottom right. The property to the south shows it to be on the top left, and the property to the west on the bottom right. And here is a preliminary design of the structure. And there is a screened-in porch proposed for the front. However, we felt that because it was so large and went beyond the accessory dwelling unit guidelines, that we did recommend approval of B 25-04-01. However, if this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, no building permit may be issued to allow for the screening of the exterior porch. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the planning commission on May 6, 2025, the commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 5-to-1 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gavin. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, council members, this is my first time appearing in front of you. My name is Russell Jones. I'm an attorney at Colby Rush at Snipes, Morrison, Hodgson, right here downtown, and I represent Ms. Ramona Hagan. I'm filling in for Mr. Christopher Go Hagan, who had to be at a county commissioner meeting tonight. It's just so happened to be running at the same time as the city council. Ms. Ramona Hagan, and she's standing here, she's present. The first thing I'll say is we don't intend to fight over the screen porch. We're asking that this variance from the accessory dwelling unit in excess of 750 square feet located at 109 Sandy Way, Statesboro, be granted. And this project is going to convert an existing 1,078 square foot workshop that's already in existence on the property there's going to be renovated so that it can be used as a short-term rental. And Ms. Hagan is seeking to do that at her own expense. And this structure, as you've seen, is contained entirely on her property. And this structure is important to her because she wishes to honor the memory and legacy of her father, Mr. Hugh Russell Hagan. And she wants to convert that space that hasn't been used since his death into something functional and useful. And I understand that Mr. Hugh Hagan was a well-respected member of this community. He was the chief engineer at the physical plant at Georgia Southern University for 27 years. And Mr. Hagan purchased 109 Sandy Way while he was working at Georgia Southern. Miss Ramona Hagan and her sister were raised in that house. And Mr. Hagan had always wanted to have a workshop in his backyard. He loved working with his hands. He loved working on various projects. So he petitioned the city for the building of this structure in 1997, and the workshop was approved. So this structure, as it is already standing. We're not talking about making any changes to the exterior of the structure. It is not going to be altered in such a way that it encroaches on the neighbor's property. Rather, the interior is going to be redesigned so that instead of being essentially a storage shed, which it is now, that it'll be changed to allow short-term renters to reside within it. I know that Ms. Hagan also, given how much Mr. Hagan enjoyed spending time in that shop, he had left a number of tools, a number of projects. He had done woodworking, welding, he restored furniture, worked on automobiles. Some of those items have been left behind, and to the extent that they can be used in the service of creating a living space within it, some of those are going to be preserved and used as decoration within the interior. Now, Ms. Hagan inherited this property shortly after her father passed, or she inherited the property. Her father passed in November of 2021, just before his birthday. Ms. Hagan's mother, Thelma Lula Metzger Hagan, passed away shortly thereafter, and Ms. Ramona Hagan has been residing in the property, I believe, since September of last year. So again, workshop's been put to essentially no use since November of 2021, and she intends to, at her personal expense, renovate the interior and dump the property to the structure used piddle shop, which is what Mr. Hagan dumped the property, the workshop, whenever he first got to work in it. And I find that I submit to this council that this serves some good functions other than just honoring the memory of Mr. Hagan. First of all, the aesthetic of this structure will not be the typical beach or farm or mountain thing you see with rental properties in the state of Georgia, but it's going to have a vintage workshop feel to it. So it's going to be a little different, and it's going to be unique, but it will also help with the demand for short-term rental units. My understanding is we need more inventory in short-term rental units, and this, one structure in a small way will help meet that demand. Also, it's not going to change the character of the area. As you've seen from the photographs, this structure is standing as it is. We're not proposing that it be enlarged. The exterior is really not going to be changed in any way other than it's going to be cleaned up. So it's not going to contribute to light pollution, noise pollution. Maximum occupancy for this structure is going to be limited to 6 people. So there won't be the possibility that you get a bunch of renters in there to throw a massive party or congest the neighborhood with traffic coming in and out. And, importantly, the staff approved this subject to the provision that this would, that there would be no screen on the porch. Like I said, that condition is acceptable to Ms. Hagan as well. Upon reviewing the project proposal, county commissioners voted 4-2 in favor of this project, and I think it's easy to see why. This renovation will convert an unused space into a valuable piece of property. It will raise the value on the existing property, which will generate revenue from property taxes. The renters that stay there are not going to place a burden on infrastructure because this is not going to be a long-term rental. So, burden on the police department, the school system, the fire department, other city services. That's not going to happen with this as a short-term rental unit as well. Again, Ms. Hagan intends to invest her resources into this property, and she also intends to use local design team, local contractors for the renovation of this workshop. So the money that she's investing is going to come back around also into the county. So we submit that it's not going to change the character of the neighborhood. Her neighbors are not opposed to this. One of her neighbors, I understood, wanted to come in support of her, but I understand she had some infirmities and could not be present for this meeting. But I don't think the neighbors are going to be inconvenienced by this. It won't change the character of the area, and it will generate revenue for the city. So we ask that this council accept the petition.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
I do have a question. For someone who was outside most of the day and who's been attacked by gnats all day long, why are we not letting them screen the porch?
Well, because it was, the variance, the accessory dwelling unit allowed for 749 square feet. And this far exceeded that amount of square footage. So it was a compromise in that we felt that if she didn't screen the porch, you couldn't count that as your square footage. So that was the reason.
Good reason, and I just wanted to know what it was.
Okay.
Thank
You are
you.
fine with that?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, and we want to go down to, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second? All those in favor? All right, any council discussion?
You down, be proud.
Thank you, I know it would be.
Seeing that there is no discussion,
Mr. Mayor, sorry, so real quick. I voted over in Littleton, I have no problem. It's in my neighborhood, and I think it would be a pleasant addition and allow, so we don't be in these space. It's what I need for.
good deal, thank you. Now, with that being said, is there a motion to approve with staff conditions?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna move to agenda item 8, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application SU 25-04-03. Bill Gross requests a special use permit to allow for an increased number of units in the R4 zone district in order to complete phase 3 of Bryant's Landing Senior Housing Project. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Ms. Kathy, if you would.
Yes, thank you. The subject site is the existing Bryant's Landing Senior Housing Development. While this property already has approval and DCA funding for phases 1 and 2, the restriction on the number of units allowed in the R4 high-density multi-household zoning district only allows for 12 units per acre. Now, Bill Gross, in order for him to apply for phase 3, he will need a letter allowing the zoning for us. So that's the reason for this request. As per allowance in the UDC, projects in the R4 zoning district may request that restriction be removed with a special use permit. The applicant is looking to construct a total of 151 units across all phases of development. This request, if approved, would result in approximately 36 units above the maximum allowed. And you can see that the site is really the old football field at the Julia P. Bryant School. And let's see, the future land use map shows this to be in a redevelopment area. The zoning reflects the R4 existing zoning on the site. The subject property is vacant pretty much, and it's shown on the top left. Property to the west is on the bottom right. The property to the south on the top left, and the property to the northwest on the bottom right. And here is a site plan showing the units. And phase, let's see, the phase to the north is phase 1, and the phase to the south is phase 2. And I'm sorry, it's phase 3. So that's what we're approving tonight in terms of the ordinance. And we do recommend approval of SU. Let's see. I'm sorry, it's SU 25-04-03 rather. If this petition is approved by the following, the following enumerated conditions should apply. 1, approval of the special use permit does not grant the right to begin construction on the site. All buildings must be reviewed and approved by the city. 2, any road closure requirements must be agreed upon by the Director of Public Works and Engineering prior to construction. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on May 6, 2025, the Commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kathy. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, we're going to close the hearings. A motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
This is the third phase of Bryant's Landing, the much needed affordable care, affordable housing for seniors. Well, actually, seniors is the first two, and this is actually family, unless seniors fill it up first.
They were gonna do seniors in the first. The second was families, was gonna be families, and this was more towards seniors, but they would be able to do family seniors in the second phase as well.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right. Is there a motion to, approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Right, we're gonna move down to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to approve as application SUB 25-04-02, 3 SD Investments LLC requests a preliminary subdivision plat on 0.98 acres of property in order to develop a cottage court consisting of 8 units on East and Main Street. Ms. Campbell.
Yes, the subject site is a vacant 0.98 acre lot located on East Main Street. This lot has been sold a number of times under the R4 designation, but has not had any plans for construction proceed beyond the sketch within the last 5 years. The applicant intends to utilize the existing zoning to develop a cottage court with 8 units on the site. In addition to the existing zoning, the applicant is also adjacent to an existing multifamily development. And you can see the location of the site outlined in blue. The future land use map shows this to be in a redevelopment area. And pretty much the north side of North Main Street is zoned R4. And there is an existing apartment complex right next door. So the subject property is shown on the top left, property to the east on the bottom right, property to the west, which shows that apartment complex, is on the top left, and the property to the south on the bottom right. And here is the sketch plan for the cottage court project. We do recommend approval of SUV 25-04-02. If this petition is approved, the following enumerated conditions should apply. 1, the final subdivision plat must show an appropriate dumpster pad or trash collection area to facilitate trash removal. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on May 6, 2025, the Commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Any discussion by council?
I do have a question. It looks like an ideal use of the cottage courts concept and a good place for it. I'm looking at the sketch and it's showing the individual units are 30 by 40. So is that general? It's 1,200 square feet. Is that generally going to be 3 bedroom, 1 bath? We would expect.
That's about right for a cottage court.
The only other concern that I had, I rode over there to look because I was really concerned. I'm curious looking at the sketches with the street names behind it, and it's like there's no streets back there. But when I rode over there, it's part of Eastside Cemetery. And so all those streets, there are named streets behind it. There's no houses. There are graves.
It's a quiet area.
It's real quiet.
So,
Real quiet.
yeah, real quiet. But the concern that I had, I see there is a tree line and there's a fence on the back of the property, and I would hope that could be maintained because, you know, we have had problems with vandals back in the cemetery, and this will be the quieter part that's easier to cause problems and not have people see it. Yeah. So we might want to look at or talk to the developer about trying to maintain that fence.
Okay, and we'll certainly take that into consideration.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2025-09, a resolution accepting the street right of way to Wasco Moore Lane, Samira Lane, Anzio Drive, and Hammer Drive within the Bel Air East subdivision as public streets to be owned and maintained by the city of Statesboro. Mr. Finney, can you give us some insight on that?
Mayor, member of council, when developers build subdivisions, one of the requirements, and we had earlier discussion about streets being built to our standards. And in this case, in Delaware East, this is not the entire subdivision, this is the first phase of the subdivision. Where they're ready to dedicate those streets to us. They've done the final lift of pavement, and we are recommending that you accept these streets. That's the way that's the way we get streets, and they have built to our standards, and once you receive them, then you're responsible for them from then on. Then the other part of it is that they're trying to close on properties that they have sold out there. They need to be on public streets, and so that's a requirement that they need to get this done. And so this is just the first phase, and we do recommend approval.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor?
Second.
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve the acceptance of 0.65 acres of real property located on 64 East Main Street from the Downtown Statesboro Development Authority for the Business Innovation Group expansion. Mr. Penny, any further insight?
Mayor, members of the council, you remember we got a $2.5 million grant, and the city put in $500,000 in order to renovate the last part of the big campus. I guess it was a workshop, and so now that all that is done, the city has title to all the other property on the big campus except for this, and so the SDA doing the work they're supposed to do. It's time for us now to receive the title to this property. We do recommend approval of that section.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Is there any further discussion? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve an easement with the Archibald Bullock Chapter, National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, to place a historical marker on city and Statesboro property adjacent to the Triangle Park. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, you have a request to place this marker in the Triangle Park from the Archibald Bullock Chapter, the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution. And this is in recognition of the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. And so we recommend approval. I don't think there's someone here tonight to represent.
Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, the only question I had was in reference to document or draft of the, and there's not one attached. Is this that first part? Who knows?
It's gonna be, the section facing, East Main, so opposite, the historical marker, sorry, there. So it's on the opposite side of the historical marker.
So you're there where the water trough thing is?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Just curious about the placement.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further discussion?
I'd like to thank the DAR for doing this. I know most of them.
Yeah.
We're good friends, and I appreciate them doing this, and I'm for it.
All right, any further discussion from council? Not seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move down to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $33,500 to Southeast Pipe Survey Incorporated to be paid for with 2019 plots and water sewer funds included in CIP projects WWD 14, 187, and 188. Mr. Kennedy.
Mayor, members of the council, we're already doing a project, but we've identified, we've got a couple of manholes that we need to rework, redo, and that's the reason for the $33,000 change order, and we do recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 14, other business from city council.
I'm sure Mr. Penny's gonna highlight, but we got another downtown lineup concert coming this Thursday.
That's right.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Miss Olympia and Public Works, and everybody who makes it happen.
Anything else? Right, seeing that there is none, we'll move down to agenda item 15, city manager comments.
Mayor, members of the council, I have one request for you. I have several items, but one is a specific request. Last year, we have a request from Reverend Wayne Williams, the Youth Career Commission, and they emailed me last week and asked me, did we include them in the budget? And we didn't include them in the budget. Last year, we funded them $3,500 to assist with the Youth Career Commission. And I think it's a 2-week camp. Now, last year, they had some funding that fell through. And I told them that I would come and I would ask y'all if you wanted to support that. It was $3,500. If you're interested in doing that, if y'all approve, then we can support it. But I told them I would bring it forward to you tonight for your consideration.
Okay. Any discussion on council?
Yes, please, Mr. Mayor, remind me about our restrictions about MOUs and not being able to make charitable contributions.
Well, we have gratuities, and it ought to be of some service but last year we provided funding, and it was more in line with youth services to ensure that those kids could have the experience because they are getting some work experience. It's in addition to what we already do, but it's through, it's a 2-week camp that's beyond what we would do. It's pretty intensive. And so we would have to agree, but I get your point, Ms. Barr. We wouldn't be receiving any direct benefit, but it would benefit the community.
Services to the
Yes.
youth. Okay. It took me a while to try to get it straight, that
You
the
got it.
city can't hand money out no matter how good
Right.
your effort is. But if there's an MOU where it's serving some perceived need, so we just have to be careful. that we do
You have to
right.
provide a service.
And I don't know the date of this, it may be before the next council meeting, but if you're interested in doing it, we can always bring it back on June 3rd.
I had no objection, I know everyone's good camp, but I just want to be sure we do it right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council? Okay. I'm in accordance of supporting what we did last year, the same way that we did it. I would support that. But we need a vote by council tonight if we're gonna do it, or the council see fit to push it to the next meeting. So we need a motion from council either way.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to contract for services with the Youth Career Commission? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Ben?
Mayor, members of the council, several other items here.
Okay.
I'll give you the good news first. So we received notification that we did get a CHIP grant, so everybody should be happy.
Yes, we are.
This is, in 6 years, we got a CHIP grant from DCA, and this project is a project that will basically be in the Pine Street area, working with Habitat for Humanity and Agape Worship Center. And so I'm just informing you, not asking for votes, but we got $1.3 million to help make some people some homeowners. So that's good news.
Yes, it is. We're gonna celebrate that.
Yeah, we are. I want to just lift up the issue, the press release that was done in reference to the major retailer coming to our community. And the reason I want to lift that up to you is when we first introduced the idea of a small business recruiter to the mayor and members of the council, we told you then that it was probably about 3 years before you really started to see results. And I think we've seen some results from having Alan Gross on staff. and doing that work, recruiting small businesses, because he's done work with our downtown association, he's done work with the Development Authority. But this is the one that he really went out and worked. And so that's a success for him. And so I wanted to lift that up, but also to say we're thankful that he was able to do that work, but also appreciate the council for having the faith to invest in this, and we certainly hope to see more coming. Now, there are some people that like to criticize, well, all we need is another mattress store. And that's not what this is. When we think about this major retailer coming to our community, this major retailer now is located in Pooler. So that means that our money, y'all money, our money, has been going to Pooler when we want those home goods. And so what it says is our market is growing, that we can now have this in our own community. And so we can keep sales tax in our own community. So that's a good indication of what's going on in the Statesboro market. So I want to share that. And then the other one that I'll share is we have been receiving some opioid settlement money, funding, and I think we may have about $90,000 that is available. And we've been using the funding to ensure we have our police officers trained in dealing with that, but we can also make those funds available to groups, the nonprofits in the community to help serve our community. And so we, staff of Olympia, Chief Mike Broadhead and Cindy, and then we will have two community folks. One is a pediatrician and the other one is.
Is he retired? No, he does, but I think he's retired.
They will be reviewing the applications for the opioid funds, and the grants can be up to about $15,000. And so we've had some interest. I received a letter from a lady, email, before I helped me with the name.
Is it the Forward Recovery?
Don't call it that.
Sorry.
We've had interest, and so now we have a process that we can make the funds available, and we'll reach back out to that particular group and let them know, but we'll also let the public know that these funds are available and that they can apply for those funds. I just wanted to make that announcement.
Joyce Oliver was one who reached out to us.
We'll email her and let her know. And we are having Downtown Live. We're excited about that. And I think that's it.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Walker, I'm sorry, one more thing I wanted to note, just to note the passing of Dr. Paulette Chavers, who was a long time Bullock County and who did a lot of good in Bullock County. I just want to note his passing and send our condolences to his family.
Thank you. All right. We're down to public comments. Any public comments? All right, seeing that there is none, we're gonna move over to agenda item 17, which is a consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.